Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, as most of you already know. Maybe some of you know, but we do like to talk about Bitcoin and crypto here on these live streams. We like to talk about stocks. If you guys are interested in talking about stocks, we like to talk about how the world events and the news is affecting the markets here. And so far, we see Bitcoin only up 1% today. It's having a slightly decent day, even though there's been some market changing events in the news here. We just seen here, let me just point out to you guys here, we have seen Donald Trump implement 10% tariffs on the entire world here. Okay, Trump announces a new 10% tariff as he hits out at deeply disappointing Supreme Court ruling. They actually ruled that Trump's tariffs are illegal, or at least the way he's been doing it is illegal. And now Trump is going to slap 10% tariffs on the entire world. And I guess what he'll do is he'll probably make exclusions for countries that are actually playing ball with the Trump administration, countries that are actually doing what Trump wants. And then the countries that don't do what Trump wants, they'll be stuck with the 10% tariff on the entire world. That's the way Trump is trying to do things here in America. We can see that the price of Bitcoin is at 67,600, and to be honest with you, that bit of news should have been the news about them making Trump tariffs illegal should have been good news for the markets. But then Trump comes back around and says, actually, we're gonna just do tariffs on everybody. How about that? Since you won't let us target specific countries. And it ended up being both those news items cancel each other out, because we're still having tariffs. They're just being done a different way. That's all. So that really didn't really change the price of Bitcoin as far as I'm concerned, as far as what I'm seeing here. And we did have a PCE inflation report that came out earlier this morning. Inflation's still a problem. It's still showing a little bit of inflation. It actually ticked up a little bit according to that inflation report. That would have been bad for the markets, and I think we did get a little bit of a dump. If I go into the 1 hour time frame here on Bitcoin, we'll see if how that affected Bitcoin this morning. But let's see, I think that news came out at 8 o'clock this morning or 9 o'clock this morning, somewhere around that time frame. And you can see that we did get a little bit of a red candle here at 8 a.m. And Bitcoin went down as low as 66,427, and that was actually pretty much the low for today as far as the market is concerned here with Bitcoin. And then, you know, we got these green candles that show up because that Trump ruling of the tariffs being illegal, I think that came out at like 11 a.m. And of course, I don't know, the market started recovering, and they like that. And then I think somewhere this afternoon, Trump said, no, actually, we're going to do tariffs on everybody instead. How you like them apples? So then we got another red candle here. But like Bitcoin has been trending upward. It's been in a trying to hold on to this uptrend here that I spotted on the charts here. This is a trend that, you know, you could just tell, like, still making higher lows here, which is frustrating the crap out of the bears and the short sellers. However, we're still making lower highs here, which is frustrating the crap out of the bulls. So like, it's almost as if no one's able to make money in the markets, and Bitcoin's been trading sideways and being boring. And I kind of get why people are losing interest in the markets with Bitcoin being boring right now. But that's just what we're getting right now. But it looks like there should be some resolution, probably like the beginning of next week, by like Monday or Tuesday of next week. We should probably see whether we're going to be getting out of the 67K and going up to like 70s or the 80s, or maybe we're going to drop down to low 60s or maybe hit 50K. I think what the market's really on the edge for right now is we're all waiting about, is Donald Trump going to strike Iran this weekend? Because they already brought another aircraft carrier into the region, and they could strike if they want to, especially as the days and hours go by here. And some people have been talking about, or at least some news outlets are talking about, that, you know, Donald Trump could strike this weekend. So I think that would actually be the big news driving event that's going to cause Bitcoin to jump up or down on us here. And if it does, I think if we do get a strike, we're probably going to see the price of Bitcoin go down. And it could hit 63K is an area that I highlighted as an important area. But maybe we actually dip lower than that into like 60K, or, I have another level to look out here at 51,900. That's another area that I'm looking out for. And that's, I'm not pulling these numbers out of my butt. But if I zoom out here and I turn the VRVP indicator here, it shows you like the levels to look out for. And there is a high volume node here at 51K. That's an area that I think we could go down to if we start losing 60K. But one of the reasons why I highlighted 63 and 67 is because there is high volume here for sure at 63K and 67K. Those are the numbers to look out for. We're already at 67K, but the number below us is 63K as far as I'm concerned, where we had some sideways trading in the past here. But then also, 60K is just a psychological number, but 51,900, or you can just call it 52K if you want. That's another area where we did some sideways trading here back in February of 2024. We were trading at 52K before we shot up again here on Bitcoin. So I think that could be a support level for Bitcoin. Now, if Bitcoin is actually going to go up in price, which it's trying to do, let me just go ahead and go back and refresh this chart here. But if the Bitcoin actually goes up to, higher prices here, and we can get out of this potential bear flag, then I think numbers to look out for is 84,500, which we highlighted before, which is a high volume node. And then another high volume node is 87,500. We got to get above 87,500 here for us to even think about being more bullish here on Bitcoin. But I think if we get up to 87,500, we're probably going to bump our head and get rejected off of 87,500. That's a high volume node here. It's an area that we were trading at sideways ever since like November, December of last year. We did a little bit of trading at that area here in January before we finally lost it. 87,500 is what I'm targeting to the upside in the near term for Bitcoin. Of course, before we get there, I'm also targeting 84K. And then there's a little bit of volume here, a little bit of sideways trading at 78K. I guess you could say in the immediate short term, like maybe and possibly next week, Bitcoin could come up to like 78K before we get rejected again. Okay, so 78K to the upside, then 84K is also on the upside, and then 87K is another upside target. And then downside target from here, 63K, and then 51,900, or you just call it 52,000 if you want to call it that. But let me see what you guys have to say in the chat here. I see a few people have joined the TikTok live stream. I'm also doing a YouTube live stream here as well. I see Edible Zombies in here. He says he's late. There's no need to say he's sorry, Edible Zombies. I actually started the live stream late, so we're both on time, I guess. No, it's I've had some things I had to do. I'm in the process of refinancing my house, and with that comes, I gotta go to the bank, get the money so I can pay, the closing costs for the refinance and everything. So I had to do that. But then also they didn't really give me the number to give to the bank because they were still trying to figure out what the final closing costs were going to be. So that kind of like held me up, where I usually would have started the live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern time, but I had to go to the bank real quick, get that taken care of, because I don't know what's going to happen going into next week. There could be a snowstorm here in Massachusetts, and I don't want to get stuck trying to go to the bank in the morning, and then they end up shutting the bank down on Monday because because of a snowstorm. So I decided to do that now rather than later. I guess I could have. Well, I can't even do it on tomorrow because Saturday the banks are closed. At least the bank that I bank with is closed on Saturday. Nathan says, "How did the painting go?" The painting went pretty well. I got a few more. I got a couple of rooms more to do, and then I also got to check to see that the that the coat came in pretty well. Like I might have to do another coat of paint on it, but so far so good. I was able to do some good work on that, so I appreciate you asking about that. You actually remember I did some painting earlier this week as well. So I've been busy this week. It's been my schedule's been kind of all over the place here. Things that, you know, it just hasn't been a normal week for me, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. Bayou Satriel says, "Is that a bearish pennant?" It does look like a bearish pennant, right? I kind of drew it out, you know, and we know it's a bearish pennant because we came into it from the upside. Let me just get rid of the VRVP indicator here, but we came into this potential bearish pennant, which, you know, some might call a bearish pennant or some might call a bear flag. But if this is a bearish pennant or a bear flag, you just take the measured move, which is basically, you know, you're measuring from where you drop down to where you bottom out here at. And if we were to continue doing this trend where we go down here to lower prices, and we break down out of this bearish pennant at like 67K, it's showing that we could come down to like 38K, which is even further past my targets here. I thought 52K or 43K might be where we come down to. We're going to continue being bearish, but like this bearish pennant is saying that actually we could go down to 38K here on Bitcoin. Edible Zombies, let's see, what did you say? That's why stable coins are so important to me and the average consumer. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Tether dominance, which is one of the stable coins, it has been increasing. And that has me worried because, let me see, let me go into Tether dominance real quick here. Where is Tether dominance? Yeah, well, today it actually decreased. Crypto did have a pretty decent day today. But, you know, Tether dominance has been increasing, and we sort of get it at its worst here on Friday, February 6th. I think that's when Bitcoin dropped to like 60K on us. But we got up to like 9% here on Tether dominance, and, you know, Tether dominance is still a problem. You know, the stable coins are where people feel safe right now. You can see that here on the charts. I think we could get one more leg up here on Tether dominance, where we come up to like this number here, 9.47%, which means that, you know, 9% of the total market cap of crypto is in Tether, and that just means people are scared out of their minds, that they're not willing to invest in crypto. But if that happens, I would actually try to buy Bitcoin in crypto and altcoins, because when people are scared out of their minds, that's like the best time to buy, because they'll sell you their coins cheap just to get into Tether, and then a year later they'll come back and try to buy that crypto that they sold probably at a higher price than what they sold it at for this year. So I'm trying to see if that scare does come into play, and I would like to take advantage of any crypto that I can get on sale later on this year if Tether dominance starts increasing on us. And also, we have seen Bitcoin dominance go down, while Tether dominance is also going up. And that just leads me to believe that money is leaving Bitcoin and also leaving crypto, because we have seen total market cap go down as well. That leads me to believe that money is leaving crypto and going into cash and stable coins here. Edible Zombie says, cheap transactions. Okay News asking me, what do I think? We go up or down? I think Bitcoin wants to go up. It wants to go up, but I just don't know how long that'll last here. Because if we actually get something happening here in the Middle East, that's going to affect the markets most likely in a negative way, and that might be what sends Bitcoin down, you know, down to 60K or lower than 60K. So that's what we have to worry about here. Is like they keep, all signs are pointing towards a military intervention in the Middle East here. And I think that's gonna give us, you know, the discounts that some of us are looking for cheaper crypto, and it's gonna hurt for those who are long and bullish on crypto, because it means that we're probably not done going down yet to lower prices here. But like I said, I think 52K is an area that we should be interested in trying to buy some Bitcoin if we can, and then 43K, and that's just using VRVP data. But it's also, I mean, even if you didn't have the VRVP data, you could just look left, and you can see that, you know, Bitcoin was trading at like, you know, 50K back here in February and March of 2024. But then it traded at 43K longer than that back here in like December 2023, going into like January and February 2024. These are the support levels that are going to help protect us from dropping like a rock. You know, some people are like, oh, Bitcoin's going to 0, or like some people saying Bitcoin might go to 30K. Well, we've got to first scare the crap out of people who bought here at 50K, and we got to scare the crap out of people who bought at 43K before we can go down into the 30s. So these people are going to probably end up supporting us, preventing us from going down to lower prices here. So that's why I think 40K and 50K is an interesting area to buy some cheaper Bitcoin, in my opinion here. All right, let's see. We got 47 people here on the TikTok live stream. Thank you guys for coming out here. Let me know if you guys have any questions about what kind of crypto or stock you want to talk about. We can also talk about oil as well, because I think oil is going to probably do pretty well over the next few days, especially if the military intervention happens this weekend with Iran. There's going to be some problems with the oil trying to leave the Middle East and getting into the markets here. So that might cause oil prices to go up on us here. Ray Trendsetting says NASDAQ. Is that a request for the NASDAQ? You want to take a look at the QQQ or maybe the index itself, IXIC? Marman says Ethereum short. Okay. Is that a request for Ethereum? I think the requests are starting to come in now. Appreciate you guys putting in the requests. But right now I got Ethereum for short as the one of the first requests, and then I got the NASDAQ as another request here. All right. I actually am invested in the NASDAQ myself. I do the TQQQ, which is triple leveraged Qs that follows the NASDAQ with like triple leverage. It's how I've been making money this past year in the stock market. Young Alpha Ball says, hi Damien, what do you think about gold right now? Okay, so looks like we got a request for gold, and that actually came in before Ethereum. And then Dan says, if the US attacks, Bitcoin's gonna go down to 43K. Wow. Alright. And then Ibsen, I don't know what you're saying here by daily CRT buy. Can you just let me know what that acronym means, CRT? And then Dan says, buy Bitcoin when it hits 43K. Alright. Oh, we have one guy here that thinks Bitcoin's gonna go to 90K. It might, but we have to get some good news to get the markets and get people excited about buying Bitcoin again. Admiral Zombie says, they will sell Bitcoin for XRP all at once? Maybe. I know you're big on XRP. I know you would like to see that. Alright, yeah, we're going to take a look at the price of gold, then we'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll take a look at the NASDAQ. Alright, let's look at price of gold. I'm just taking the requests as they came in, so don't feel like I'm skipping over you. I'm just, you know, that's what I saw in the chat. I saw gold as one of the first requests, and then I saw Ethereum after that. Alright, so here we are. We're looking at the price of gold. Let's see. Gold trading at 5,108. Has already hit some support here off the 21 EMA, this white line. It maintained it as best as it could. And we're also getting support off of the golden pocket number here, the 618 at 4,936. Looks like if all things are good for gold here and we're going to go up to higher prices, I think the next level of concern here is 5,225, which is your 786 retracement. That could be where gold kind of trades sideways before it tries to punch up to higher prices. And if it does punch up to higher prices, we'll see if gold can actually revisit this this level that it made, the all-time high at 5,598. That is the all-time high for gold that I see here. We got to first get past 5,200 here. So those are your upside targets. Now, does gold have the momentum to do that? Let's look at the momentum indicators real quick. Let's see what the MACD is doing here. MACD shows that there has been some selling pressure here, but selling pressure is starting to die off, and it looks like we're kind of getting this blue line to curve up. This would be the beginning of possibly some, you know, upside price action here for gold. If this blue line can cross the orange line to the upside, like it did back here, it did that back here in the beginning of January. We all know that January was good, right? Gold was going up to all-time highs in January. If we get that blue line to cross the orange line to the upside, you might start seeing, you know, gold retest those all-time highs and maybe make a new all-time high. We shall see. Also, you know, with the events in the Middle East, war is actually inflationary because they're blowing up infrastructure. They're spending. They're shooting missiles and rockets, and those missiles and rockets need to be replaced. And with what money? They gotta show that they have gold here in order to buy whatever they need to do to replace whatever needs to be replaced here. So this could cause the price of gold to go up. Events in the Middle East could cause the price of gold to go up, in my opinion here. Okay, and I can see that with money flow starting to come green here on the daily time frame here. And then you got a green buy dot that came in on Thursday. I think gold wants to go up, not down. But if it did want to go down, we do got support off the golden pocket here. And then maybe we could get some support here off the 50-day moving average, the green line sitting at 4,379. Okay. All right, moving on from gold, we could take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's currently trading at $1,970. Up only 1% today, kind of doing the same thing as Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 1.5%, Ethereum's up 1.12%. Yeah, Ethereum. It's probably going to do whatever Bitcoin decides to do. But if you want to see what the targets are to the upside and downside, that's where I think that's one of the reasons why you come here. And I had picked up targets for Ethereum, right? Downside targets 1822 and then 1650, and that's basically using the VRVP data. If I just zoom out here and I turn the VRVP, you'll see there's some high volume nodes here at 1800 and then also 1650. So I think that's where Ethereum could go if it's going to go down to lower prices here. All right, and then upside targets. We do have 2,500, which I already marked off here, and then $2,700 and $2,800. Okay. But I guess the next question is Ethereum actually going to go up or down, right? And we got to look at the momentum indicators. Looking at the market cipher B, the money flow. Money flow has been trying to increase here. It hasn't gone green yet, but if it starts going green, then you'll see Ethereum definitely probably go past $2,000, heading up to that maybe that $2,500 number, depending upon how much green we get going into money flow. Momentum is to the upside here, so Ethereum does want to climb up, but the same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also showing that it wants to climb up as well in price. All right, I just don't know how it's going to handle itself if we get a war breaking out in the Middle East this weekend. I would like to think that would be a negative thing, but maybe, I don't know, maybe someone could make the justification that Ethereum and Bitcoin can go up in price if war does break out in the Middle East. Right now, the MACD indicator, we got a MACD crossover to the upside. That came in, I think, around Valentine's Day, last Saturday. And you see that the selling pressure then turned into buying pressure. So Ethereum does want to go up to higher prices. And I already marked $2,500 as a target, but I think initially we're probably going to have problems with this white line here. This is the 21 EMA sitting at 2,069. Get past that level in a clear and convincing fashion, and then you should see $2,500 for Ethereum. Okay? But you got to get past that $2,069 level there. Okay? Alright, moving on from Ethereum, let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. I gotta look at, let's see, what do I got? I know I got it on the watch list here. I just gotta make sure I got the right thing here. NASDAQ IXIC, the NASDAQ composite. Currently trading at 22,880 points is what we would say here in stock market world, because it's not really dollars, it's points here. But yeah, NASDAQ up 203 points today, up almost 1%, but up 0.9%. And what has the NASDAQ done here? Well, kind of topped out here. It topped out here on the end of January when it got up as high as like 23,988. Was that the highest? I think no, it got higher than that. We actually seen the NASDAQ get as high back here in October of last year at 24,019 points. So we kind of are making lower highs here, kind of going sideways. Nothing too exciting to write home to mom about. And we're kind of like playing around with possibly losing the 100-day moving average support here. This blue line here. You finally came down to it. You're trying to use it as support. today we came up. I think today we got this nice solid green candle because of the news about Trump's tariffs being ruled illegal by the Supreme Court. So that should have benefited the market. And if Trump didn't do anything, he just left it alone, we probably could have seen higher price action for the NASDAQ. We probably could have seen the NASDAQ probably come up to this 50-day moving average sitting right here at this green line at 23,172. But we didn't, because what did Trump do? Trump decided to do 10% tariffs on everybody, the entire world, because they won't let him target specific countries. Now he's going to target everybody. And I think what Trump is going to probably do is he'll probably do exclusions for the countries that are working well with the Trump administration, and the countries that are not playing ball with the Trump administration, he's probably going to leave it at 10%. Or he might just decide to raise tariffs on everybody to 40%, give exclusions to the ones who work with him, and then the countries that don't work with him, like he might leave them with like 40% tariffs or whatever they want to do for a number there. Carlos Rojas says points or pips. We call them points here for the NASDAQ. Pips, or I think bips, is like what we talk about when we're talking about interest rates, and we're not really talking about interest rates here. Shaq Canada says bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is showing that it wants to continue climbing up, but it's also in a bear flag, and it's not making it's in a bear pennant, and it's not making any higher highs recently. So I think Bitcoin is just waiting to see what happens in the Middle East, because I think that's going to be the main news-driven event that's going to affect the markets in a big way. And I think, you know, even like the stock market is kind of like going sideways, waiting to find out what's happening with, you know, what's going on with Iran in the Middle East here. Crypto Glenn says, y'all know these indicators are lagging, right? Some of these indicators are lagging, but you know, these indicators, they do provide, they give us an idea as like where support could be, and there is, you can see that the 100-day moving average is providing support. I think that's a good indicator to be using, as well as the 200-day and the 50-day here. But an indicator that doesn't lag, and I'm going to show you that to you right now, is the VRVP indicator here. And if I got to scroll out and get as much data as I possibly can, but you'll see this VRVP indicator shows you where the buying and selling is occurring, and it gives you the price levels to look out for with these high volume nodes. The green is the buys, the red or the magenta is the sells, and we got the highest volume node here at this blue line. This is the point of control. That POC is sitting at 23,448. Since that's above us, that's going to act as resistance. Okay. So if we get up to higher prices here on the NASDAQ, if we get up to higher points here on the NASDAQ, I would expect 23,400 to be a problem until it's no longer a problem. And then maybe we can climb past that to the all-time high of 24,019. Okay? But right now it's showing 23,400 is going to be a problem. And this is an indicator that I think everybody should add to their chart, because this gives you real-world data that gets updated every single day, every single hour, okay? And this is just showing you where all the buys and sells are. So we know that's going to be a resistance if we ever do get to 23,400. But below us, we do have some support here. There's a high volume node here at 22,500. 22,500 is where I think we should get some support. And that's not too far off from where we are right now. So we're not too far off from getting support here on the NASDAQ. However, if we do lose 22,500, there's not that much high volume below us until you come down to this white line here below us. This is the value area low sitting at 21,130. Okay, 21,130 is where you could expect more support for the NASDAQ if we ever do drop below that level there. Okay. What's the name of that indicator? It's the visual range volume profile indicator. If I click on my indicators here, let's see, it's right there, but I'll just type in, if you type in VRVP here on the trading view, that's the indicator there, visual range volume profile indicator. Now when you set it up or get it fired up, it's not going to look like my indicator here with the green and red and the white line, the blue line, the white line. Let me just get rid of the moving averages here, but oh shit, I got rid of the wrong one. Yeah, right there. You're not gonna have the value area high, the value area low, and the POC unless you actually go in the settings here and put in that you want the value area high, value area low, and POC. So I clicked off VAH is your value area high, VAL is your value area low, and your POC is that blue line. I made it blue. I clicked it and I turned it blue. Okay, and then also the inputs. This is probably what it's going to look like when you first start. All right, it's going to be a row size of 24, and it's going to look blocky like this. Like it's not going to be as nice and precise as what I got. What you have to do is you have to go into the settings here, and you have to turn the row size from 24 into. I just added 0, 240, and that gives me the more precise measurements where I can actually tell like where the gaps are and where the actual high volume node is at. Okay, so that I explain in my VRVP indicator video, which you can find here on TikTok. If you go on the Meet Damien TikTok, don't forget to follow me if you haven't done so already. But there's that VRVP indicator video. Let me just click the refresh button here, so you kind of like stick out here. Hey, where's my videos? It means something went wrong. Go ahead and refresh that. All right. But yeah, there we go. Pinned to the top of the channel is that VRVP indicator video. It's got 2,290 views. It's a very popular video because a lot of people want to learn about it, including the experienced traders. I think that's the reason why I get so many views on it, because not only do the beginners benefit from learning about the VRVP indicator, but the experienced traders who've been trading for years. Some of them don't even know about the VRVP indicator, but they know that this thing actually works, and it makes things easy to identify on the charts here and the visual representation of it. And they're the ones that are also looking at that VRVP indicator video as well. So it's one of my popular videos here that I pinned to the top of the channel. It's one of my educational videos that I like to put out there. And then also I got a video here about the Fibonacci indicator. And then for the beginners, yeah, I do have a beginner video that explains how to read a candlestick chart, how to use the MACD, the RSI, those indicators right there, and how I trade with them. That's also another popular video, but not as popular as that VRVP indicator video. That right there is the sweet sauce, the sauce that a lot of people like to figure out, like, oh man, how does this indicator work, and why is it so damn useful? All right, we got a couple of people showing up here in the chat here on YouTube. The Nedrec. The Nedrec. I like that play on words there. He says, dollar bills, y'all. He loves my accent. I have like a Boston accent here. I'm over here in Massachusetts, and what can I say? I have a hard time pronouncing my R's. That's just how the Boston accent is. Jayla says, is Bitcoin going to go down? And then Big Moan says, link to my YouTube channel. So if you go into TikTok and you go to my bio here, there is a link tree here. If you click on that link tree, it will take you over to the Meet Damien link tree. And here you can, if you want to join the Meet Damien server, it's free to join the Meet Damien Discord server. You can click on that. But then also down here, there's a Meet Damien YouTube. You can find me on the Meet Damien YouTube channel. And I also got the TikTok, which are on right now. I got an Instagram, a Twitter, or an X, where you can stay in touch and find out the news updates. I don't really show the Twitter too much here, but there is a Meet Damien Twitter here, and this is where I also post up when I'm going live here as well. Okay. So, and if I have any updates here, the other day I wasn't able to live stream because I was painting my house, and I just put up here that, you know, I'm not live streaming, and I'll be going live again at 4 p.m. on Thursday. So that's you know, if you want to add me on Twitter, that's the Meet Damien Twitter right there. Okay. But you were asking about the Meet Damien YouTube channel. Yeah, there's a Meet Damien YouTube channel as well. If you want to, you know, rewatch this live stream if you missed it, and you want to see what I had to say about the markets, or listen to one of your coins that I might have gone over already, yeah, you can watch the replay here on the YouTube channel for the Meet Damien YouTube channel here. ICS Creator says, what sort of coins do you invest in? I mean, since we're in a bear market, I'm just sticking to the high market cap crypto coins, because you know, at some point, you know, they'll bottom out, and then they'll be able to start climbing back up again to higher prices. And I've seen Solana make a new all-time high last year, and I've seen Ethereum make a new all-time high. So I would probably stick to those coins as well as Bitcoin. Don't forget Bitcoin. Bitcoin can still make you money. Remember, Bitcoin's going to go up first before the altcoins go up. So you'll make money first in Bitcoin, and then you can take your profits in Bitcoin and move it on to, like, you know, Solana, XRP, and Ethereum, and make even more profits doing that strategy where you invest in Bitcoin and then you take profits and you move it on to the altcoins after that. But yeah, I'm just sticking to the high market cap coins if I'm going to be investing in any coins here. I think Sui is in one that I would like to try to get some once things start to bottom out here. Sui, what's Sui trading at? Sui's trading at like 95 cents. You know, cheaper than Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin, but don't just look at the price and just think, oh, it's gonna go, you know, Sui's gonna go up to, like, you know, Bitcoin's price or Ethereum's price. Like, it has its own market cap, it has its own tokenomics. I believe there's more Sui coins than there are Bitcoins, so, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why Sui's at 95 cents versus Bitcoin. There's not that many Bitcoins out there, and that's why, you know, Bitcoin can be $67,000. But it also has a bigger market cap too, where it has like almost $1 trillion of market cap. So Sui doesn't have that either. But if Sui is able to get that market cap, you know, you'll see Sui probably go up to, like, you know, maybe $4 or $5 like it did last year. So, you know, Sui is another coin that I like, and it's not just because, you know, it's a cheap price, but I've also done my research on Sui, where, you know, Sui is almost just as fast as Solana. And the maybe even faster than Solana, and then the transaction fees are like less than a penny, like a half a penny. Like, I know, you know, Solana transaction fees are like a penny, which is better than Ethereum and better than Bitcoin, but I think Sui can do it like for like half the cost of Solana, where like a transaction fee on Sui is like a half a penny. So, you know, if Sui's able to do that, that means it's going to be cheaper to build on Sui. It's going to be easier to use and faster to use than Solana and Ethereum. So I think Sui also has a future here. XRP has a future, and it has a big crowd in it already. We all know the XRP army. But, you know, XRP also has a big market cap. So I don't know if XRP is going to be able to do like a 5 or 10x like Sui could, or some of these other smaller coins out there. But I think, you know, over time, like, you know, if you're of the belief that Bitcoin will become digital gold at some point, and the same amount of money that's in gold will go into Bitcoin, then Bitcoin itself is probably going to be $1 million coin, even though it's at 68 grand. At some point in the future, it's going to be $1 million. And when Bitcoin actually goes to $1 million, that's going to be at least a 10x right there. Let's see. I'm getting a little bit of a warning here from TikTok. TikTok says behavior is not in line with our policy. I mean, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes TikTok can be funny sometimes. All right. BB Burns says, how can I understand everything to start trading? Well, if you want to start learning how to trade, you came to the right spot coming to this channel. Don't forget to follow me here on TikTok. Also, you can follow me and subscribe here on the YouTube channel as well. But if you really want to get to rub elbows and learn as much as you can from all the traders here, we do have a Meet Damien Discord channel. You know, since you're in TikTok, once again, you know, I'll show it as if you're starting off on TikTok here. But you go over here to this link here, to my link tree. Click on that link there. It'll take you over to the Meet Damien link tree, and then you click on here. This is the Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join, and you'll see me show up here on. Well, you'll be able to get over to the Meet Damien server, Discord server, and then, you know, you'll see when I go live, and then you'll also be able to talk to other people here, such as Cameron, one of our experienced traders. Bless me. There's also other traders here in the chat, okay, that you can learn from. Tony Starks, But yeah, besides the traders here, like, you know, you'll be able to learn as much as you can from me as best as you can. All right, but if you want to do like one-on-one mentoring, I can do that with you. If you really need help with your trading, we can set it up where I can do you know, a Zoom meeting with you, and I would probably do, and we'll figure out what the cost would be for one-on-one tutoring sessions. But I can do like an hour or 2 hours where I can teach you as much as I can about trading. But here on the Meet Damien server, we do have where you can find trade setups. So if you're looking for like trades to get into, we have guys here that are talking about what trades they're getting into here, and they give you the chart, you know, the chart setups, the entries, the stop losses, and the take profits. And then when they actually do make some money, we actually show our gains here in the show your gains page here. And we got, you know, there's Cameron doing 150x long here on Solana. You know, he likes to trade with a lot of leverage. I wouldn't really recommend doing a lot of leverage as a beginner. But once you actually know what you're doing, you can actually get away with doing a high leverage trade here. And there's Cameron again with his 50x short on play here. And yeah, I mean, Cameron kind of takes over the chat here on the show your gains. He definitely loves to show off as best as he can, as much as he can. But we got like Taz here. Taz doing a long here, up 360% on Pepe, doing pretty much like an 80x long on that. So this is where we kind of hang out on the Meet Damien Discord channel. And yeah, they talk about trades that they get into and the stuff that they do here. But yeah, this is a good place to get started for free. And if you need, you know, more help with your trading, then I can do one-on-one sessions with you. ICS says, have I ever tried meme coins? Of course I have tried meme coins. I actually have a little bit of Pepe, and I've been in Dogecoin and other coins, Shiba Inu coin. But meme coins can be tough if you don't know what you're doing, and you got to make sure that you're doing the right thing with the meme coins here. Enzo, thank you for following me here on TikTok. Let's see, what else are we saying here? Yeah, I think that's it for us as far as requests go. Let's see, should you sell after market open? I don't give financial advice here. I don't give financial advice. But are you talking about market open for Monday? I mean, if you feel like you need to do so. If you're anxious about selling, you should probably think about considering selling something. But once again, this is not financial advice. You got to talk to your financial advisor about that. I just talk about what coins, you know, I like to be invested in, and you know, I look at the charts. I like talking about the charts and trying to figure out where the prices might go next. Okay. But there's also no guarantee that the price is gonna, you know, go a certain direction. Now we're just working with probabilities here. It's like, what's the probability that, you know, the Nasdaq or one of these coins can actually go up in price here? Let me go back to what Bitcoin, see what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's actually trading at 68K. Is that the high for today? We got up to like 68,294. Did we actually do that recently? Let me get into the 1 hour chart here on Bitcoin. 68,294. That was like, earlier this morning at 5 a.m. Well, I think I was sleeping, and I think most of the people were sleeping. But Bitcoin is, like I said, I've already said this early in the live stream. I believe Bitcoin wants to climb up to higher prices unless something derails it here. We got Abe in the chat. Abe says, will Bitcoin sweep the 68K level? I think we're looking at that right now here. Abe, Bitcoin is at 68K. Dap Rugged, you're funny. ICS Creator says meme coins is kind of like gambling. It does feel that way. Feels that way with a lot of old coins, not just meme coins. You kind of have to get in when no one's talking about it, and then when everybody's talking about that specific coin, that's when you need to get out. So if you are hearing about a specific coin, you know, let's say like we're talking about Pudgy Penguin coin or Pepe coin. If everybody's talking about it, that means everybody's probably invested in it. That means no one's left to actually buy the coin. That's probably a good time to get out before everybody else realizes that it's a good time to get out. That's just market psychology there. When everybody is talking bad about a coin, or they're not talking about it at all, that's actually a good time to get into a coin, or any asset, not just a coin. It could be a stock, it could be a commodity. Like everybody's talking about gold right now, but I wouldn't really be interested in getting in gold right now because eventually that's gonna play out, and there's not gonna be any more upside appreciation in gold, and then people can take profits, and then whoever bought towards the end, or whoever bought towards the end of the mayhem in gold, they're gonna get burned. Okay. One thing that most people weren't talking about, but they're talking about now is the price of oil. Okay. Oil was actually doing pretty bad over the last couple of months until we had the events in the Middle East here in January. We saw price of oil go down to like 56, 55 bucks, and we didn't know if it was going to continue going down lower. But then after we started getting stuff happening here in Iran, we started seeing the price of oil go up. And I think if we get intervention in the Middle East here, military intervention, you're going to see the price of oil go up to like 70, 80 bucks here, maybe 90 or $100, and then everybody's going to be talking about oil. But were they talking about it here last month? Not really. They were just starting to talk about it. And then were they talking about it here in February? Well, they kind of are now. Okay. But yeah, that's the time to get in, is when no one's talking about it. So you got to just find out what's an asset that people, they don't like, they're not talking about, and then that's the one that you need to get into. I think crypto might be worth getting into later on this year once people, if we go into a deeper bear market and correction here, there's going to be people talking bad about crypto, and they're going to be disgusted with crypto, and that's actually going to be the best time to buy cryptos, when everybody's disgusted with it. Muthar says, Bitcoin sell level. I would try to sell some Bitcoin if it does climb up to 78K. That's an area to be looking for. Let's get back into Bitcoin here. But just using the moving averages here. I'm going to repeat the moving averages here. That 21 EMA, that white line, that's is at 70K. But the other area that I was looking for is I'm looking for 78K, because you got some sideways trading going on over here. But then other levels is like 84 and 87K. And if I turn on the VRVP indicator here, you're going to see that there's high volume node here. The highest volume node is at 87K. That's an area where I would definitely think about taking some profit off the table here. That's almost like a $20,000 move if Bitcoin does get up to 87K. You're going to have problems if you get up to that area. You're going to have problems with the high volume node here at 84K and 87K, but you're also going to have problems with that 50-day moving average. Is going to act as resistance, and that's sitting at 85,800. So when we get into the 80s, that's going to be a problem for Bitcoin in the short term. Glasper says, what do I think about stocks? Or are you talking about AMD stock? Are you talking about advanced micro devices, Glasper? I think that's the ticker symbol. You said, what do I think about AMD stocks? So I don't know if you want me to talk about AMD stock, or you want me to talk about stocks in general. Yeah, all right. So AMD is a stock, not a. You put an S in there, plural. So AMD stock. Let's take a look at AMD stock. I believe that's a request from Glasper here. Advanced micro devices is a semiconductor that's kind of like similar to NVIDIA. I know they've been competing against NVIDIA. For those who don't know, and AMD is currently trading at $200, or was trading at $200.15, down 1.58% today. Let me just get rid of the VRVP indicator for now. We have looked at this with previous chart work. I did do a Fibonacci here from like 266 all the way down to 149. And it looks like AMD currently at $200. It's like in between the 0.32 and the 0.5 retracement level. The 0.382 did act as support here on Thursday, February 5th. And now what else we got here? We got the 100-day moving average. Should be acting as support, but we actually went below it, and now it's kind of acting like we're just playing around with this 100-day moving average. We're not really staying above it. We're actually below it right now, but I want to see this thing get above the 100-day moving average. That's sitting at 203. And then maybe we can climb back up to the 50-day moving average at 222. And that 222 area is also the 618 golden pocket level. So I would expect upside for advanced micro devices to be no higher than 222, which is like a 10% move up in price right now. That's your near-term high target here. Then we'll see if we can actually get up to the 0.786 retracement at 241. Okay. But yeah, let me get this. I put like a resistance here. That was resistance. We know that already. If AMD is not going to climb up to higher prices here, we do have a 200-day moving average that could provide support, and that's sitting at 184. That red number right there, 184. Right above the 0.236 level at 177. So I think 177 to 184, good area to try to buy some cheaper AMD if that's what you're trying to do here. Is AMD going to go down or is it going to go up? Well, let's see what the trend is looking like here on the momentum indicators. We got the MACD indicator showing that we had selling pressure here, but it's starting to die off. If it continues doing that, you'll see AMD creep up to higher prices here. And then here on the market cipher B indicator here, money flow is in the negative, but it's starting to curve up. So I think AMD does want to go up to higher prices. It looks almost similar to Bitcoin where it wants to go up to higher prices. However, the problem is you are still making lower highs here. And, you know, you're not making a clear, convincing case of us going to higher prices. It wants to go up to higher prices, but that doesn't mean that it is going to go up to higher prices here. You know, we'll see what happens with this weekend and possible military intervention in the Middle East. If a war breaks out, I think this does go down to lower prices, and you can get it at 177 or 184 in this zone right here. Thank you, Wukong, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And I think we got a good amount of follows. We got a good stream here. I usually go live from like 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. I did start off late today. I've been live for about an hour. Let's see. Do we have any other requests here? If not, I'm probably gonna just call it a live stream and get on with the rest of my day here. Thank you, Lamina, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And thank you, Stephen Well, for following me here on TikTok. Yeah, guys, don't forget to follow me so you can get the actual real Meet Damien here. If you click the top left picture, the profile picture of me in the red shirt, you'll actually get the actual Meet Damien channel here. And let me just show you that you got the real Meet Damien. I'll flip the camera real quick here, but yeah, this is me. Okay, I am Damien, and make sure you follow me here on TikTok. And same thing for my YouTube guys. Even though I don't have problems with copycats on YouTube, I know you guys are watching my videos. Some of you guys aren't subscribing yet, but let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well here on YouTube. All right. But yeah, guys, make sure you're following the actual Meet Damien, which you are right now. If you are, because there are some copycats out there that are trying to pretend to be me and they're trying to scam you guys, and I don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you're actually following me right now. So you don't have to worry about. I won't message you guys first. You guys have to message me, and then I will, respond back to your message. But I don't go out like talking to everybody and anybody. Okay? Only if you guys have a question for me will I respond back. But I'm not going to be asking you for your account details or your passwords or anything like that. Because those are the scammers who are trying to take your accounts or do something bad to you. And that's not me. Okay? But there are people trying to pretend to be me. So we got to watch out for that. Let's just finish off here on Bitcoin, as we normally do here, because it's like the fun, cool kid on the block. Bitcoin currently trading at 68,184. It is cashing the bids here. I already said that 67K was an area to look out for, but if we lose our price action, we start going to the downside, 63K is another support area, which hasn't really acted as support recently. It kind of did for like a couple of days here in February. If you look to your left, you'll see there is support area at 63K, okay? Basically back here in like March all the way to like September 2024. That's why 63K is pretty important, okay? If we lose that, then we'll probably come down to 52K, which is where Bitcoin was trading at back here in February of 2024. That's another support zone, okay? But to the upside, I think Bitcoin is going to first have to get above this 21 EMA at 70K. It's about a couple of grand away. But then we could get some resistance from the 78K area, which is where we're trading at sideways in the beginning of February here. And then we'll see if we can get up into the 80s. And if we go into the 80s, then 84, 87K is areas that you should be taking profit on your Bitcoin. And that's about like a almost a 33% move from where we are right now. Let me just measure that out real quick here. But if we go from where we are right now to 87K, it'll be up about like 28% on your Bitcoin investment. So I think that's a good, solid profit to be making. I know the stock market guys might be jealous to see that, or at least some of them would. So why not click the sell button if it does get up to 87K? Because you just don't know if we could get knocked down, come right back down to 60K all over again. But if you sell at 87K, you can take that cash and buy more Bitcoin at 60K again if you do come down here. But what does Bitcoin want to do? So on the daily time frame, on the MACD indicator, Bitcoin does see buying pressure showing up. It's not as strong and vigorous as what we saw here in January, but you know, green is better than red. So even if it's like a slow trickle, if we're slowly marching our way up to higher prices, it still is higher prices. You know, we haven't seen 60K for like a couple of weeks now. Like we actually dropped down to 60K on February 6th, and so far we've been staying above it. However, what I don't like seeing here on Bitcoin is that we are still more highs. We gotta actually punch through and show that we can make higher highs here. And yeah, then you'll see 70K and then 80K here on Bitcoin, okay? But right now, the argument is that this is kind of almost like a pennant. It's a bearish pennant because you came into it from the upside and then dropped down here before you started flagging out here. And this is, you know, this is a battle between the bulls and the bears. The bears are going to say you're making lower highs. The bulls are going to say you're actually making higher lows. And there's going to probably be some resolution going into next week, the beginning of next week, Monday and Tuesday. We're going to have to figure out, are we going to go up or are we actually going to go down? And I think what's going to happen is, you know, this weekend there could be a military intervention in the Middle East, which could probably send us one way or the other here. Or, you know, Bitcoin could just do the other thing. There is another option, and that's Bitcoin could just go sideways and frustrate the crap out of the bulls and bears, and people get bored with Bitcoin until something actually happens here. Okay, but yeah, that's what I'm seeing here in the markets. Is I think Bitcoin wants to go up from what I've seen with the momentum indicators, and then even on the 1 hour time frame. Let's just look at that real quick here. 1 hour time frame is what I like to look at for day trading and to figure out what might happen in the next day or two. And the momentum indicators, there has been buying pressure here, but now we got a little bit of selling pressure, but then we get some buying pressure that's weak here. I just think Bitcoin's just going sideways because I think we're really waiting on whether or not Donald Trump is going to do something this weekend, because they usually like to do things during the weekends as far as like military intervention is what we're going to call it. And they do it when the stock market's closed, and the stock market's closed right now. So I think we're on kind of like a knife's edge here. We're kind of like waiting to see if we're actually going to see something happen go down this weekend. And I think that's why Bitcoin is slowly climbing up, but not really going up too much. So yeah, guys, you know, sad to say, you know, Bitcoin is just being boring right now as far as like this weekend. But, you know, usually things are quiet right before the storm comes, right? It's like nice calm, the calm before the storm. We might be seeing that here on Bitcoin and crypto. So just be careful, keep your stop losses tight. And good luck trading in whatever investments you get into. Me personally, I'm actually in oil contracts because I think the price of oil will jump up if there is a military intervention. And I am trading on Coinbase Exchange. I got like 8 contracts of oil right now. They're up about 290 bucks here of unrealized profits. If the price of oil starts jumping up, like I got in at $62 here. If we go up to like 70 or 80 bucks, 100 bucks, I think I've seen like the potential here is I could probably be up like 2 or 3 grand. Yeah, so I would like to take advantage of that if I can, but it's gonna suck at the oil pump if that does happen. You know, I know people can get punished if we do get a military intervention, if things do get a lot worse in the Middle East. But at least I can get some of that money back by owning oil contracts. So I'll be able to take care of myself, so I'm not getting hurt that much on the oil pump here. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this live stream. Let me go ahead and get the music back up and running again. And I'll try to answer my TikTok questions on the way out. And my YouTube guys, you can just enjoy and listen to some music as we end this live stream here. And I plan on going live again Monday, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, unless something changes. I will let you guys know on Twitter or Discord if anything does change. But let's plan on doing the same thing here. You know, Monday evening around like 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. I'll see you guys then. Take care. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get into. Take care, guys.